think about the fruit, of course, there's that wonderful, but the peel being, really one of my favorite parts of the citrus. Even the leaves and the seeds being used for certain things. I would use the seeds a lot to extract pectin to make like jams and jellies.
Hello and welcome to the Herbs with Rosalee podcast, a show exploring how herbs heal as medicine, as food, and through nature connection. I'm your host, Rosalee de la Forêt. I created this YouTube channel to share trusted herbal wisdom so that you can get the best results when relying on herbs for your health. I love offering up practical knowledge to help you dive deeper into the world of medicinal plants and seasonal living. Each episode of the Herbs with Rosalee podcast is shared on YouTube as well as your favorite podcast app. Transcripts and recipes for each episode can be found at herbswithrosaleepodcast.com or through the link in the video description. Also in the video description, you'll find other helpful resources. For example, to get my best herbal tips, as well as fun bonuses, be sure to sign up for my weekly herbal newsletter. Okay, grab your cup of tea and let's dive in. I'm thrilled to finally have Emily Hahn, who's my good friend and fellow collaborator, on the show. Many of you already know that she and I wrote our book, Wild Remedies, together, and that we also co-teach a 10-month online course, Rooted Medicine Circle. For those of you who don't know, Emily Hahn is a naturalist, herbalist, and educator helping people cultivate their connection with the earth. Based in Tongva Land, Altadena, California, her work focuses on intersections of ecology, culture, food, and plant medicine. She is the author of Wild Drinks and Cocktails, Wild Remedies, and the forthcoming Mushroom Hunting. Welcome to the show, Emily.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It's kind of just funny to have you here too, because you and I work together so closely. Of course, we have on our book, we worked very closely on Wild Remedies together. And then we continue to work closely on Rooted Medicine Circle together, which we'll talk about later. But first, I'd love to start with hearing about all that brought you to this plant path that brings us together today.
Oh my goodness. Well, I grew up with a lot of plants and herbs in my life, from my parents and grandmother, family members. My parents practiced traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture, and so we pretty much used herbal remedies for most things, whether it was Chinese medicine or also like Western herbs that my mom had learned about and things. So if we had a sore throat or a rash or something like that, herbal medicine was just part of my family. So I think there was always a foundation there, but it wasn't necessarily something that I thought about like consciously or actively, and
right, it was just normal.
Yeah, right. And it wasn't just like medicinal, either. It was that concept of like food is medicine, and the herbs being integrated, into our food, it's just growing up. But I think kind of coming to it, herbal medicine more, I don't know, in a more conscious way or something. It came much later when I had moved to Southern California in my early 20s. And my husband, Gregory, who grew up here, had grown up spending a lot of time outdoors and, hiking and spending a lot of time outside. And so his way of kind of, when I moved to California, introducing me to, my new home and his home was that we would go hiking all the time. And so as I did that and really getting to know the plants around me and the animals and the ecologies and things, that just as I learned more and more and more, and as a food writer, I started kind of integrating a lot of the local plants, into my food and recipes. And then that just sort of, one thing led to another, and started, integrating those, as herbal medicine too. So it was kind of a way of just continuing to, deepen my relationship with the plants around me, the earth, and just another way, I guess, to participate, in those relationships between animals and plants and microbes and rocks. And, it's like, getting to be an herbalist was just kind of another way to participate in those cycles and those relationships.
I love, of course, that you're mentioning all the microbes and insects and beings, because you don't mind me sharing this story about the first time you and I went on a hike. So normally when I go on a hike with people, I'm like, okay, I'm a plant person. So like I'm more interested in like going slow and checking things out. And like I just have to warn people about that. Going on a hike with you for the first time in my entire life, I found somebody who was more detail oriented and slow on the hike than I was. Like I'd never seen that in my life, which there's that joke. Maybe you even told me this joke. How do you find a naturalist?
Oh, right. Yeah.
5 feet from their car.
Yeah.
There's probably more to that, like how to find a naturalist on a hike 5 feet from their car. So you really taught me that. And I also really want to just credit how much you have brought insects and other beings into my life, because I really did have eyes for the plants before you. And of course, I saw insects and stuff, but I never became as fascinated and interested in learning about all of the beings that I could see out there.
Yeah.
So I really credit you with that, because it's been a pretty, life enriching experience to open my eyes a little bit wider there.
Well, yeah, I'm so glad. And glad that, because I definitely drive people crazy, on hikes or more like 5-foot walks, because you can just get so, engrossed in the wonder of just all the intricacies of the life, around us. And yeah, to me, it's like knowing plants it's not just the plants. Like you said, it's like getting to know plants is also getting to know insects and getting to know, other animals and weather patterns and, geology and, all these other things that I think is just so much, one of the things that's just so fun about spending time with plants is that there's, so many wonders around us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that first hike with you was just fascinating to me, because I just never found a creature quite like you. And you're also one of my very favorite people to hike with because of that. I think before we go on, I think it would be fun maybe to share about how we met.
Yeah, right.
We have been working together and friends now for a decade, I realized.
Wow, has it really been that long? That's incredible.
Yeah, 2023 marks the decade mark.
Wow, that's really cool.
And so how I remember it is that you basically cold called me. You were doing online work and you reached out to me and said, hey, we have this mutual friend and I do like this type of work. And I'm just wondering if you know of anybody who might need that. And I was like, oh, actually, I do. And so we started working together. Oh, but no, that's not it though, is it? That's not quite the beginning.
That was sort of step 2, I guess.
That was step 2. I jumped ahead. Maybe you could share step 1.
Yeah, well, step 1, I started following you on Facebook, I guess, because of our mutual friend. And, so I kind of, and I don't know if we really interacted very much on Facebook or not, but, I had been following you and your work. And then you had posted that you were looking for help with a graphic. So I don't know if you want to talk more about that.
Yeah, it was the Taste of Herbs wheel. I had like basically sketched out this like pencil drawing. I don't know, it was very rudimentary like sketch, and I needed it into a digital graphic. So I just posted that, like, who can do this? Because it was fairly complex. It was not like, we didn't have Canva back then, but you couldn't even do it in Canva today. Like it was fairly complex. I just posted and you answered. And so
I was like, oh, sure, I can help with that. So yeah, so that was really fun to kind of be there at the beginnings of you developing that, that Taste of Herbs wheel. But yeah, so we did that together, and then I reached out again. Was like, if you need anything else or anybody who does, and kind of went from there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny just to think back into all that came from that, But yeah, from the beginning there. So we worked together on those projects, and then we worked together at Learning Herbs for a while, and then there was that summer I just published Alchemy of Herbs. And I swore I would never write a book again. And then I met with Tori Amos. This is a very important part of the story. And I met with Tori Amos. She inspired me to write another book, which it just hit me. I remember I was in my kitchen and it just hit me just like this. It was like, this is the book you'll write. And then 2 seconds later, and you'll write it with Emily. And like, it was just bam, bam, like that.
And because it wasn't like out of the blue, we'd had so many conversations.
Yeah, we
about
had a
the
lot of
topic and
conversations.
stuff. So I remember I called you in my like over the top excited way. And I was like, and this is going to be the book, and it's going to be about foraging, but really about nature connection and I was just like, la, 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 la. And you were like, oh, that sounds great. And I was
That's really
like,
cool.
good, because I want to write it with you. And you were like,
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
let me think about that.
Meanwhile, I had written, my first book, Wild Drinks and Cocktails, and after that, I was like, I'm never writing another book again. That was so intense. So, so I had not planned to do it again until you.
Yeah, I did kind of like, hit you on the side there, just like, and this and this and this, and then we're gonna do it together. But I knew we were gonna do it together.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, I was like, okay, I need to think about it, but there wasn't really much to think about,
Yeah, it didn't take you long
to do it.
So. And then writing that book together was just a dream. I feel like my first book, Alchemy, I was so inexperienced. I'm so proud of the book and the way it turned out, but it was hard. Wild Remedies was not hard. That it just
we were just like finishing each other's sentences, like and thoughts, and it was anytime like I thought of something, you had been thinking about the same thing that morning, or it was we were just like so like in sync with that. It was pretty cool.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It was kind of unreal. Yeah. Yeah, and we rented this place. It was out on the coast of Washington, and we had studied with Victoria LeBalm on kind of, I don't even know how to explain her work, but it was kind of like on presentation and organizing stuff. And we filled out almost 1,000 flat index cards of organizing the whole book. And anyway, we do not have to go into all the particulars there, but it was a very just wonderful experience to write Wild Remedies with you. And then after that was out into the world, which came out in kind of this tumultuous time, spring of 2020, we, this is definitely like I'll just speak for you. This is like our life's work. We're so proud of it. And so we said, what next? And so we surveyed people who loved the book and found out that people really wanted to explore nature connection and medicine making more. And so we created Rooted Medicine Circle together.
Yeah, that was neat because we, like you said, we didn't necessarily know what the next step was, but it was like that kind of grew out of, what people were asking for. So yeah, it was really neat to be able to then put that together, to answer, I think, some of the needs of what people were looking for, and then also, integrating things that, were so important to both of us.
Yeah, and we basically wrote this whole other book for that course, but that is another, another story. Well, I am so excited that you wanted to talk about citrus because I eat citrus very seasonally, and so it's this time of year that especially mandarins I love. So like I'm eating mandarins, especially right now. Like July, it doesn't really
smack in the middle of citrus season. So,
this is the middle of citrus season. So yeah, I'm so excited to hear what you have to share about citrus, especially also because people think of this as a food, which obviously it is, but there's so many gifts beyond food. So excited to hear what you have to share, Emily.
Yeah, I think it is neat because when people think of herbs, oftentimes I don't think citrus is really like the first, plant that comes to mind. But like you said, it does have so many gifts, and I'm just so in love with citrus. I think from so many different angles, and I love that it's a plant that it kind of it brings together my own roots as well as like where I live now, and so like I'd mentioned growing up with like food as medicine, and my parents using herbs and healing foods. And some of my earliest memories are my dad drying citrus peels, mandarin orange peels. He would use in like Chinese medicine and cooking. So just like we would eat the mandarins, and then he'd save the peels and have them laid out just to air dry. We lived in Texas, so it was very you tend to be warm in the winter and things get dry pretty quickly. But so yeah, we would have like citrus peels drying for him to use. We would have like jars of salt preserved limes to make a Vietnamese nuc gun. It's the salt preserved limes or lemons, and then you mix that with like some sugar and some like water or soda water, make like a limeade type drink. It's like salty and refreshing. And so we always had that. We would have my grandmother's altar for the ancestors would always have, piled up, citrus fruits on it, mandarins, oranges. Lunar New Year was always really important, being Chinese and Vietnamese. And, so citrus was always an important part of that. We'd have like, there'd be kumquat trees or big pomelos that they're like a type of grape, similar to a grapefruit, like the biggest citrus fruit, all these like citrus to bring, good fortune. And so, yeah, so I grew up, and I think kind of surrounded, by a lot of citrus. And then, like I mentioned, moving to California later, where, citrus is widely cultivated. And so, there would be citrus in people's yards. We always have like friends like bringing, bags full of like lemons and, Meyer lemons, and find ways to work with all of those. Going to the farmer's market, I was always just so completely dazzled by, all the different citrus fruits. For a while, several years, we lived in a house that had a lemon, grapefruit, and orange trees. Fortunately, don't have those trees in my yard anymore, but I do still grow like small citrus in pots, like kumquats, yuzu, Thai lime. So I'm fortunate to live somewhere, where the citrus can flourish. But I know, it is possible for a lot of people to grow citrus, in like a dwarf citrus, in a pot, and even bring it in during the winter. Live somewhere where it can thrive year round. So yeah, there's so many, it's just kind of being surrounded by citrus and then finding so many different fun ways to bring citrus into food and medicine. We think about the fruit, of course, there's that wonderful, but the peel being, really one of my favorite parts of the citrus. Even the leaves and the seeds being used for certain things. I would use the seeds a lot to extract pectin to make like jams and jellies. And then the flowers. So, the blossoms are so incredible when you are lucky enough to, to live, near a citrus tree, and that those citrus flowers are just so magical and intoxicating, when they're in bloom. And then to see all of the birds and ants and insects and, also, loving the citrus nectar and pollen. And yeah, that's a very exciting time. So, integrated flowers into things that I did too. So yeah, and I talking about citrus, there's so many different kinds. It's a lot of times in herbal medicine, we talk about like bitter orange because it has that bitter peel that can be used, particularly like for digestion or like resolving phlegm and things like that. But lots of citrus have bitter peels. So, you could use, regular oranges, mandarins, grapefruits, pomelos. There's so many different ones that you can play with too.
Yeah, and that's such a I feel like in Western herbalism, maybe not as generally known unless you start studying deeper, but in Chinese medicine, the peels are a very big deal. It's like one of the most popular medicines. When you're working with peels, do you like them as tea? Do you like what are some ways you like working with the peels specifically?
Yeah, probably like, used dried or fresh to make teas, like you mentioned, and depending, on the particular fruit that you use, it'll have bitterness, but oftentimes, also could be very, very fragrant and just be a wonderful, like after dinner, type tea to help with digestion. Use the peels when making bitters, like an alcohol, extract. And so the peel will add that bitter component and citrus flavor to bitters. Grapefruit peel bitters is one of my favorites to make. So that's a fun way. What else? Drying the peels and then grinding them up into a powder is also a really great way to, you can then use that powder, in your herbal, remedies, like mixing it with like honey or, making pastilles and things. But it's also just really fun to like, sprinkle on your food, like on your, oatmeal or, or congee or something like that. You got like, little sprinkles of orange peel or citrus peel powder. So yeah, those are some fun ways to use the peels. The blossoms, I love, again, just steeping those in hot water and just having a very like light, fragrant tea. Steeping it for a very short period. If you steep it longer, it does get more bitter, which, sometimes, has its benefits too. That's nice. Also making hydrosols with the citrus flowers. an aromatic distilled water that then you can use in food and cooking and drinks, as well as just, it's like wonderful just to like spritz, on your face. It's nice and refreshing. So yeah, there's so many different fun ways to work with the citrus, beyond just eating the fruit.
My only memory of ever being around fresh citrus flowers is in your backyard.
Really? Oh,
I'm glad I have that memory of
yeah.
the place, but they are incredibly heady, aromatic, just
Hmm.
that fragrance is such a gift. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so I miss, having like mature, citrus trees around me for that. But I have like a little kumquat, it's just a little
Mhm.
kumquat tree in a pot. And I, moved it to our new house, and then it flowered shortly after that. And even just that little tree in a pot, like just had the most wonderful fragrance. So yeah, that was really special too.
Oh, fun. Yeah, I actually have a friend who lives where I live, which is zone 4, which is quite a
Mhm.
ways north. And her and her husband have a lemon tree, which they do what you said.
Mm.
They bring it out, and then
Uh-huh.
they have a greenhouse attached to their house, and so
Oh,
they
cool.
have it in there. So it's possible to
Yeah.
grow in many different places. I'm excited to hear about your citrus honey tea. Will you share more about that?
Yeah, I thought I would share a recipe for citrus honey tea. So my husband is Korean American, and so like Korean food and medicine is also very dear to my heart. And in Korean culture, there's something called yuja-cha or yuja tea, um, that's made with the yuja fruit. It's also known as yuzu in Japanese, and so it's kind of, if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like a citron. It's more peel and rind than pulp inside. And it has just like amazing perfume, to it, in addition to kind of its bittersweet flavor. So traditionally in Korea, they would use that peel mixed with honey and or sugar to make kind of like a marmalade, type mixture, and preserve the fruit. And then you can then take like a spoonful or two of that sort of marmalade-y citrus sweet mixture, and then mix that with water, hot water, and make a tea, which could be used to help with like sore throats, coughs, digestion, some of the things that we've already been talking about. So my recipe is, kind of inspired by that. Oh, I should mention it's used medicinally. My husband also, he just uses it to make like with fizzy water, and he drinks it as a soda. Um, but yuzu fruit, yuja fruit can be harder to come by for a lot of people. So another friend of mine, he's a chef, Jason Park. He was making it with minor lemon, and so that was a really wonderful, citrus that you can use in it. But you could really make this you could make it with regular lemons, with mandarin oranges. I've made it with the pomelo peel, and that was really good. So whatever citrus you have accessible to you and that you are interested in playing with, you can try. Basically, it's pretty simple. Some of the herbal remedies that I make, I tend to be much more precise, in measurements and ratios. This is more of a folk, method. Pretty much just filling a jar with the citrus and honey. You can. I have actually. I don't know if you can tell. I have one here, and like, so this is just like a wheel of a lemon. So I just cut it rounds, and I love doing that because the wheel is just so pretty and sunny, and just in the cup, I feel like it's just so uplifting to see it. But you could also cut it into like thinner slices or something, and basically just like put some of that in the jar, cover it with some honey, and then alternate layers of the cut citrus and the honey. And then make sure it's well covered with the honey, because that helps to preserve it. And then put that in the refrigerator, and I give it like at least a week before using it, but it can keep for months, and it's great. You can taste it over time too, and see that the flavor will develop and become stronger over time. But then when you want to use it, you just take a spoonful or two of it, put it in a glass, a little bit of the honey, a little bit of the citrus pieces, add some hot water, and you have wonderful, wonderful tea. I love drinking it. Well, all times really. It's great after dinner because with that, to help with that kind of digestion. But I also love it just in the morning. If I have a sore throat, or feel kind of a little something, I like to have it. Yeah, it's like the citrus is like, it's both, I don't know, it's both like uplifting and refreshing, but it's also tastes really comforting. And yeah, it's just a lovely, and it's kind of like, depending on the citrus you use, it can be more or less bitter, and the amount you use in your cup, more or less sweet. But yeah, to me, just that combination of the bitter and sweet is really nice.
It sounds lovely. And like you said, something that can be a hot beverage, or it could be something you add to fizzy water.
Yeah, definitely. I usually drink it with the hot water, but my husband, he makes a, a cold soda, which is his preference. So, it can be, it doesn't have to just be used medicinally too. It can just be, just an enjoyable drink as well.
And because you're a BTS fan in the way I'm a Tori Amos fan, it seems like a great idea to listen to BTS while you're making this. Because I know you are. Is there anything else you'd like to share about citrus?
Let's see. Well, I think if you're fortunate to have, a citrus tree in your life, or, or a friend who maybe has a, citrus tree, spend some time, with them. But if not, fortunately, it at least during certain seasons, winter time, it can be very, accessible. You could find it at the market. You do want to make sure, when you're using the citrus rinds, to not use fruit that's been sprayed with pesticides, or, even some grocery store citrus can even have like dyes or waxes and things like that on it, so you just, know where your citrus is coming from and how it's grown. And, so that, particularly if you're using the peel, you want to be really mindful of that. Yeah, think about that, and hope the people enjoy the tea and have fun with it.
Yeah, thank you again so much for sharing the citrus honey tea with us. And for the listeners, if you'd like to download your free recipe handout with a beautifully illustrated version of this recipe, then you can visit the show notes at herbswithrosaleepodcast.com. Well, Emily, what projects are you working on right now?
Well, as you know, right this minute, right now, we have our Rooted Medicine Circle mini class going on. So that's definitely really exciting to be able to share, with everyone out there. We have a couple different, some different components of our mini class. I don't know if you want to share more about that.
Yeah, let's share about that. First of all, this mini class is a free thing that everybody is welcome to join. It's only happening right now. So starting from January 17th for 1 week only. So if you're listening to this or watching this now, it's definitely, you want to check it out soon. And the first thing we have available is our webinar on how to avoid common pitfalls. And with the hopes, of course, that you get to avoid them and avoid mistakes. And we put together 7 pitfalls that we see herbalists make all the time, and things that we have made the mistake of doing as well. And so with the hope of pointing these out, so you don't have to fall into those I want to say mistakes. Of course, everything's a learning experience, but
yeah.
So we have that webinar immediately available, and then coming up in a few days we have a live class, which I'll let you share about, Emily.
All right. Well, we are going to have a live class on making teas. And so you get to have both of us teaching in that class. And, it seems pretty simple, right? Like everyone knows how to make a tea, but really there are so many nuances to making teas, particularly teas, that you want to really work, medicinally, and that also taste good. And so yeah, we're going to be sharing, some different ways that you can approach, making teas in a way that's going to be really potent and effective.
Yeah, that's really a big one, because I think it's just easy for people to learn one way to make a tea and then make all their teas like that. And so this is really big in that there's so many variations, like you said, Emily, depending on the person, the situation, and the herb. And so It's good to have a lot of tools in your toolkit, especially like you said, when we want to use this as medicine and not just like I won't say not just as a fun drink, because I love fun drinks, but when we're thinking about medicine, we need to be more specific. So we'll be teaching the tea class live on Saturday, and it'll be fun for you to join that with us live, because you can answer or ask questions. You can make tea with us if you'd like. And if you miss the live class, we'll have that recording available as part of the Rooted Medicine Circle mini class as well. And then we have lots of other stuff going on, little things here and there. There will be a community you can interact with. So it's always fun to get a bunch of plant people and herbal people together and share. So that'll be part of the fun as well. So if you're curious about what it would be like to have a home filled with herbal remedies that you can trust for your everyday health needs, then you can join the Rooted Medicine Circle mini class by going to herbalintensive.com, or by clicking the link in the video description or in the podcast show notes. And again, it's just happening for a short period of time, so definitely check that out, and we'd love to have you join us.
Yeah, hope to see people there.
And so that's a big thing that's going on right now. But I want to hear about other projects you have going on, Emily.
Yeah, let's see. Well, my husband, Gregory Hahn, and I are working on a book. It'll be called Mushroom Hunting. So anyone who knows us, like we're kind of if you go hiking with us, we're often like, we're looking for mushrooms, and we love, and it's really about the joy of observing them and finding them, and just that sense of curiosity and wonder, even more than like foraging them to eat or anything like that. So so the book we're writing is with Chronicle Books, and it'll be out later this year. And it's approaching, mushroom hunting from that kind of place of like, curiosity, kind of a mindful observation. One of the things that, we talk about is like actually not going out and looking for mushrooms, but looking for where mushrooms like to grow, so it's kind of like getting to know, whether you are, in your backyard, or, a city park, or, a forest, or, all the mushrooms can grow in so many different environments. But like kind of like learning those, cues of what mushrooms, what they like, and, where they're likely to grow, what other, plants, you might look for and be in the area, and really using your senses to kind of to cue in to, to those clues to finding mushrooms. And the thing is, it's wonderful when you do find mushrooms, but even if you didn't, by practicing, all of these things, I think you have a really, fulfilling, wonderful, mindful time, out in the living world, no matter what happens. So anyway, yeah, we have that book coming out. So that's been really fun to work on together. And we just got to look at the first draft of the illustrations for the book. So that's really exciting. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited for this book, and so much of what you're saying are things that I've learned from you. So I'm so excited that you and Gregory are putting that out in the world, because it's going to be a gift on many levels. And if you're going to cheat on me and write a book with someone else, the fact that it's Gregory.
Right. Yeah.
No, but seriously, very excited for the book. So be looking for that.
Yeah.
Well, Emily, you are the first person that I'm asking this question for season 7. Regular listeners know I ask the same question for each season, and here you are, the first. And I chose this question because we're at the beginning of 2023. So I just thought, with new things starting, this would be a great question and answer to hear from folks. So my question for you is, what advice do you have for people who are just starting out on the herbal path?
Well, I think when you're starting out, it can be so overwhelming. There's so much to learn, so many different herbs out there, hundreds, thousands of different plants, and different ways to prepare them, and things like that. And I think it's really important to spend time getting to know plants themselves. There are wonderful, herbal remedies that you can buy, and that, other people make, whether it's, on a small herbalist or a commercial level or, any of those things. But, to be an herbalist yourself, to practice that is also, I think it's so important to really spend time with plants. And it can be the plants that you are working with to make the medicine. It's wonderful. And it can be, plants that, that you are tending and harvesting and making your medicine, but it also doesn't have to be that either. It can be the plant that's, outside your door. It can be, plant you pass on your way to work, or, it could just, it's just, I think, slowing down to spend the time just being, with plants. And there's so much that you can learn that can then inform your herbal medicine making and your herbal practice, as well as just having, spent that time. And, one of the things that we do in our Rooted Medicine Circle class is, really developing that into a practice, because we can say that, but then, life gets busy and we do this and that. And, it's not necessarily a priority to spend that time, with plants. And so we integrate something called a sit spot practice. And that's, having a place that you return to, again and again. It, can be once a day, once a week, but something, regularly part of your life. And it, and just going there again and again. And so that you can really sink deeper into that place. Also, observe over time, so what you see one day, it will be very different from, what you notice the next day, really honing in on your senses, in that place. And I think that developing that connection and those relationships is such a, important part of then, practicing your herbalism, so that the experiences you have there will then also enrich, your medicine making and your making and using of the herbal medicine.
That's so true. And such a special gift of herbalism too,
Mm-hmm.
because in Western medicine, that's you don't really curl up with the bottle of pills, or you know what I mean? There's not there's a, I'm not saying that Western medicine is bad or that we shouldn't take pharmaceuticals, but it's just very different in that we get to directly interact with these living beings and have that relationship with them. And something that I treasure more and more, I think, with each passing year. And having a relationship with a plant is not the same as having a relationship with a person or the relationship with your cat. But it's similar in that it's actually a true relationship. There's a reciprocity there. There's a recognition there.
Right.
And it really does unfold into this really beautiful relationship. And it's priceless to walk out your door and say hi to the elder tree that you rely on for medicine, or to just take out your botanical loop and spend time with the dandelion and watch the bumblebees.
And then earlier we were talking about that world around the plants too, and the the insects and where the plants grow, and you become part of that too, so that it's not that distance between you and maybe the the medicine that was over here, but you're really all part of this dance together, and I think that like you said, that is what really makes herbalism so very special.
And just so much fun. And that's exactly what we do in Rooted Medicine Circle. It's about making powerful herbal remedies while also deepening this connection to the living world. And I know that you can attest to this, Emily. We actually just finished reading all of our certificate reviews. And so we've just been immersed in reading about our students' experience. And I cannot count the number of times somebody said, I began this course to make powerful herbal remedies. I love making powerful herbal remedies. It's the connection to the living world that has transformed my life.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps like I have been, reading all these student reviews. So yeah, that is really powerful.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited that you are finally here. I've had the request to have you on the Herbs with Roots podcast many times, and I'm finally, just really glad that you're finally made it here. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the link in the video description to get free access to Emily's recipe for a citrus honey tea. Also available are the complete show notes, including the transcript. You can find Emily on Instagram and through her website, emilyhahn.com. And for those of you interested in being an herbalist who makes powerful herbal remedies, check out our Rooted Medicine Circle mini course, which is going on now for the next week only. Visit herbalminicourse.com to get free access. Again, that's herbalminicourse.com to save your seat. If you enjoyed this interview, then before you go, be sure to click the subscribe button so you'll be the first to get my new videos, including interviews like this. I'd also love to hear your comments about this interview and this lovely plant. I deeply believe that this world needs more herbalists and plant-centered folks. I'm so glad you're here as a part of this herbal community. Have a beautiful day.